this is going to be kind of a rant, and it's a rant about the broad brush that Second Amendment supporters and gun owners are being painted with over this subject called gun violence. This past weekend, depending on which news outlet you want to believe, there were between 65 and 75 people shot in 2 days in Chicago. Between 10 and 12 fatalities of that 60 to 70. So Chicago doesn't have a gun violence problem, they have a gang violence problem. The weekend prior, a whole bunch of black folks decided they were going to close down the Dan Ryan Expressway, which is the interstate that goes north and south through Chicago, getting pissed off because of the violence and the shooting and all of that. My point is that they all know who the shooters are. They know, and the cops know. It's the same people, revolving door, that commit a crime with a gun or a gun crime, and they're back on the street. I don't know why, I don't really care. What I'm saying is that the people who are complaining have the power to stop it. Why don't they? Because I don't want my baby to be killed, but I'll feel sorry for yours if yours gets killed. Right? That's because my kid is part of one gang and your kid is part of another. Now, how do we know this to be true? Well, when there is an intent to really murder somebody, you just go up and somebody shoots them in the head. When there is gang punishment to some other people, what you see happening are people getting shot in the arm or in the legs, not in the arteries, but in the arms or the legs, as punishment or retaliation. Why? So the argument can be made that yes, I shot the person, but it was not with intent to kill them, or I would have shot them in the face or in the torso or some other place. I was just trying to hurt them to make a point. And these are young kids too, by the way, that are doing this. So that's why you have a large number of people being shot, but so few fatalities. Now, you could also argue there's a lot of bad shooters out there that just can't aim. And it doesn't negate the fact that there are drive-bys. But even then, in a drive-by, the shooters usually shoot low to hit people in the legs. Now, like I said, sometimes they're terrible shots and they miss and they end up killing people. But because you had such a disparity between people shot and deaths, and what we already know is that most of the shootings were in the arms or the legs, that is gang-related, gang-on-gang punishment and retaliation. The other part is that the cops know who the people are. But the community, and this is the black community where those people live, are powerless to do anything about it. Why? One, the state of Illinois and the city of Chicago make it almost impossible for someone to get a concealed carry permit there. And two, in the black community, whether the south side or the west side of Chicago, most of those folks can't get they're prohibited people anyway because of the impact of the war on drugs, and now they have a felony that's going to be with them for smoking marijuana for the rest of their life. And that was intentional, by the way. That was intentional to disarm the black community where they were, so that nobody had to worry about folks having guns, and anyone that did have one was a bad guy. Well, that's the case now. That's the case now. So what would be the solution? What would be a constitutional solution? Well, you can't do prior restraint because that's against the Fourth Amendment. But what you could do is, if you want to have a block party, you need to have a permit. And with that permit comes police security with barricades. Now you just isolated people able to do drive-bys. You put barricades up just like they do in Afghanistan and Israel and other places, right? Because the people can't defend themselves. You make it impossible for vehicles to do the drive-by thing. Hell, leave the barricades up. Empower Neighborhood Watch to do inspections of vehicles going back and forth through the neighborhood. Problem is, you don't have a bunch of folks that could have guns. Why? Because they're prohibited persons from some stupid drug violation that happened a while back. So, the solution is there. This is not a gun violence issue, either in America or in Chicago specifically. It is a gang violence issue, and everybody knows who the gang bangers are. Everybody. It's just that I don't want you to hurt my gang banging kid, hurt the other guys, other mama's gang banging kid. And by the way, get pissed off at Rahm Emanuel, who's the mayor, whose hands are tied. Because he gets elected by the folks in the South Side and the West Side. Anyway, stop blaming us, law-abiding, Second Amendment people, for crap that's going on in gang-infested areas that the cops and the community have the power to stop. Ugly and it's painful, but they have the power to stop and just don't want to, because the consequence is somebody's going to get voted out of office. So, my rant is over. But I've been thinking about this for a while. I appreciate your comments down below. If you really like what I have to say, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell so you get notified of other videos. And as always, thanks for watching. Carry on.